History Investigations
Chickasaw
presents
National
Coast to Coast
Recreational
Live,
Area.
Bigfoot.
These 12 million acres of Oklahoma's Arbuckle Wilderness are home to diverse species like white-tailed deer, bison, flying squirrel, and allegedly one creature not currently accepted by mainstream science.
Oklahomans have called it many names. The Green Hill Monster, Big Ed, the Chicken Man. Today, they call it Bigfoot.
In the early 2000s, we started to see numerous reports in the Oklahoma newspapers of visitors in and around the park encountering some sort of large, hairy, bipedal primate.
In 1996, a young man is driving across the Rock Creek Bridge in Chickasaw when he spots a large figure sitting in a creek. When his headlights hit it, he sees that it is covered in dark, shiny fur.
In 2000, a man, his wife, and 3 sons, they owned 120 acres up there in the mountains, and they reported seeing many Bigfoot over the years.
In 2006, such stories of Bigfoot sightings lured firefighter Randy Harrington to Chickasaw with the intention of finding one.
I was pretty convinced that there's something out there. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. Everything that I had heard up to that point came from my friend. His wife was a sheriff's dispatcher, and he was telling me about all these reports that would come in through the dispatch. One of the big ones was, he said there were some people that left their campsite to go see a movie in an adjoining town, and they came back late at night, and a hairy figure went running out of their campsite.
Randy's plan is to return to that exact campsite and recreate the conditions that supposedly lured the Bigfoot out of hiding.
So I set up a tent, set up a table. I even threw some food and stuff on the table. Taped up blankets on my truck because I was just going to give it the appearance of being empty. And just shut off the engine, close the blankets, and that was it. I had purchased a parabolic microphone, stick it on the top of my vehicle, and it has a headset, so you could hear really well. It's well after dark at this point, maybe 11 o'clock, and there's a certain cadence to the nighttime sounds, and you get used to it. The wind rustling through the trees, the bubbling of a creek. The night has its own melody.
As night falls over Chickasaw, Randy waits, alone in the darkness.
So I'm just sitting there listening, and then everything went quiet. And then I hear footsteps. But it's February, it's the off season, there's not even a camp host there, there's nobody camping, it's cold. Then at some point, I hear a ding, more footsteps, and then I hear another ding, and I'm like, okay, it's moving, and it's hitting a metal lantern post at each campsite. But at some point, the footsteps stop. I can hear it moving and stopping. Moving and stopping.
While Randy's parabolic microphone can pick up sounds up to 600 feet away, it can't tell him where they are coming from or how close they are.
My heart started racing. I'm like, it's going from tree to tree. It has to be close. That's when they started doing some vocals. I had one of those old cassette micro recorders. And so I'm recording about every 6 seconds. These loud calls were happening, and they were getting louder each time. In 3 minutes, he did 17 of these vocals. And after the last call, that's when I see my first shadowy movement. I really don't want anything to see my blankets move, but I was opening them just enough so I could look. I could see right into my mirror looking down the side of my truck to a chunk of woods right behind my truck. Something put its hands on the side of the tree, and it went, and then back behind the tree. And that's the moment they came out. I saw 2 scary gorilla-looking things. There was 2 different sized ones. The big one, he was leaned over, just the mannerisms of the way it was moving, running with a stooped over hands swinging, just a foot off the ground. That's the moment in my head, not human. And then they both made a beeline to the back corner of my truck. With what I could see in my mirror, I could see the little one duck down behind the tailgate. The big one got to the back corner of the truck. He stood up, just as straight backboned as you and I would. That's when I saw his stature. I had ladder racks on the back of my truck, and from the ground to the top of the ladder racks was 7 foot. So he was this much taller than my ladder racks. He was big, he was huge. He grabbed the side post, and I could see an upward pointing thumb with his left hand. His shoulders looked like bowling balls, just incredibly muscular. And that spooked me. So I let the blankets close, and I'm in the darkness, and I was just like, oh my God, please don't come down here.
Randy had set the perfect trap. The problem? He's now the bait.
And then he took a move, and he was coming up the side of the truck. That's the moment I was in a real panic mode because my doors weren't locked. He had hands. He could manipulate the door handle just as easily as you and I could. I was not gonna hit that lock button because when you hit the button to lock all 4 doors at the same time, it's a cha-chunk. I did not want him to know I was in the truck. I'm looking down, and I can see my shirt between my chest going boom, 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 as my heart's just thumping. And I thought he would feel the pulsing of my heart just by touching the metal of the truck. So I pulled my back off the seat. I'm sitting there behind my A-post, and I just didn't want him to know I was in there at all. I knew if I started the truck up, they would know I was in there, and I'm certain that it would have ended. He could have ripped the doors off my truck if he wanted to. If I was to get out, I'm free game. I mean, he ripped my arms off, I'd be dead. Then, in just a split second, the whole back end of my truck squatted. He was on the back of my truck. At this moment, I knew he was 1,000 pounds because of how much the truck squatted. My biggest fear was he's gonna climb on the cab of my truck and then collapse it. But then I hear him shuffling stuff around in the back of my truck. I had 2 little green propane tanks at the back corner. I hear those tanks get knocked together. Ping! And all movement stopped. And then they leave. Even after they left, I just kept thinking that they were gonna come back. Every little noise I would hear, I'd be like, is that them? I sat there till daylight, and the moment sunlight started filtering through the trees, I felt safe enough to open the door.
The next day, Randy discovers what he believes to be the creature's footprint near the creek leading to his campsite.
That night, that was the moment. I no longer have the luxury of saying, this may not be real.